Ready?
Now we are.
No, we're not. Okay, well, ana gadi wahi ka joke was so what I want to see is nearly gazitas real you just go in oji and that just queen star on not hruni. Retina wada do garunga gara your guess at the sort as the tonka garakwa. Yeah, tin the stars in Hunzagi down a guy negan umwit. Retina wada do so weird and kundun hats that go. And the Hagar da Biato or not Roni, dan Riskarewage, dan Damdawe Adum Gutsera, a Guegrona go to Guyan Russell go and Escana, Ori Huio, Gary what Gori Shumsero, Donna goes at Stansera. Damdawe Gayan the one and they're gonna go Rio. Okay, so as you know, every time we get together for council, meeting, ceremony, anything of importance, we always have to carry out a Hondigari Wadeko first. This is the words that come before all else. That's where we identify and give thanks to the things within creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. So we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation. When you look up into the nighttime sky, you're not looking into cold, dark, empty, lifeless space the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead, you're looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And so we give thanks to her, the sky woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to Grandma Moon. It's she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things. And so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, where you've grown out from Mother Earth, or what you imagine divides us. Regardless of these things, we all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relations all together. And so we give thanks to her, to Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us body. From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, for in this world, they give us purpose and direction. From there, we give our thanks to the spirit that connects all things together, from the furthest reaching roots of the trees deep inside Mother Earth, extracting all of the energy to up near the roots and the medicines, near the surface where humans dwell, where all the animal life is, up into the bushes and the shrubs and the trees, where you got the insects and then the flying insects, flying bugs, the birds, into the upper atmosphere that's filled from the ground to the upper atmosphere, filled with microbial life forms and water that you are breathing in right now. And so we, from there, off of our Mother Earth into our solar cell, into our galactic cell, and into the larger body of Sky Woman herself, we give thanks to the spirit that connects all things, and we give special thanks to the mothers, the life givers in every strain of life, as it is they that perpetuate the diversity of Sky Woman's dream. From there, we give our thanks to all the waters, all the medicines, in all the shapes and forms they come in. And this is to remind ourselves that we are made of 100% water. You are medicine to your parents, your grandparents, from the instant you were born into this world. They are medicine to you, to your loved ones, your wife, your husband, vice versa. We are medicine to each other. And if you are not aware of your medicine, then your medicine is being co-opted from you and being used in a way that you have no idea and that you do not give your approval for. Same way that, like, in the non-native world, that they take taxes out of you. They're stealing your energy, they're stealing your power, and to fund things that you don't want anything to do with, unless you are a warmonger, unless you do love to kill women and children, unless you do love to invade other people's territories, other people's countries. Unless you don't, well then, these are the things that are, when your medicine is co-opted, these are the things that are, from there, we give our thanks to let's see, our ancestors that carried a good mind. We ask them to help us to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all of our nations so they can manage all of our people properly once again. This applies not only to the Ganyangahaga, not only to all native nations of Turtle Island, North and South, but to all people around Mother Earth, because on the other side of the world, they went crazy thousands of years ago. Male dominance, warmongers, bringing nothing but thousands of years of nonstop war. And so you see what the effect is of following the path of male. So we know that here within Turtle Island, the pathway to peace, there's only one way to peace. No one else on earth can say, oh, there's got to be many ways to peace, because no one else on earth ever achieved peace. Non-native people never achieved peace. They never even had it as an idea or a thought in their mind until they arrived here in Turtle Island. Very important that we ask our ancestors' guidance in returning the true spirit of the three universal clans of the Ganyangahaga, of the turtle, wolf, and bear, to return the true knowledge of every wampum within the great law of peace back to the hearts and minds of the people, to return the balanced mind leading to the good mind. And if there is anything that is left out, then that is for you to put it in its proper place. Okay, I'll just ask, is there anything that anybody knows that we were supposed to address tonight? Is there any issue that anybody wants to bring forward, wants to, any question, anything? If not, we could just say hello and goodbye tonight. Really...
I would have something.
Okay.
Okay. I expected a longer. Oh, I cannot spotlight because we are just two. Just give me a minute. I'll change this.
Oh, Aladdin, hang on.
Okay. While she'll do it. I'm Angèle, daughter of Jeanne Mance, granddaughter of Jeanne-Aimée, great-granddaughter of Marianne. I'm Turtle Clan temporary representative in the Life Givers Nation. And I shared with Edith what I want to talk today. And I don't know if you want me to read this, but I could prepare and read the text that I'm following. She's an actress, Jamil. I don't remember her last name. Everybody knows her. And she posted about, everybody must know now. If you don't, you probably live under a rock. But I think it's already 2 weeks ago that there was a CNN article or file regarding a website that men gave themselves some trick to drug and rape their wife and girlfriends. Yeah, so since a few months, also in the Life Givers Nation, that it is our main focus to empower women and to connect back to what is real sacred power through the teachings of the Longhouse, of course, but also through our own research and all kind of listening to or witnessing all kind of speech and people like talking these words. So I see a lot of content about this article and this phenomenon. And she wrote something, and I don't know, if you give me 1 minute, I'll share it, and we'll be able to read it all. It could take maybe 5 minutes. It touched me in a way that, because maybe I feel it more than I felt it before, but when I see anything regarding assaulting women, all of this, it's basically almost any kind of relations that we have with men now that turns like that. So I feel it more, even though I'm lucky enough that I didn't necessarily had stuff that are really like life traumatizing, but still I'm experiencing the patriarchal consequences of male dominance, and this touched me more than it did in the past. So I'm okay. I have it. I don't know how. Okay, so her name is Jamil Al Jamil, something like that. Okay, I'm sharing.
And what is she? She's an actress or a
She's an
singer?
actress,
Or what?
yeah, you'll recognize her, I'm pretty sure, because I'm sharing. It's on Instagram, so that I'm kind of I don't know how to expand it more than that, but I don't know if you see her, you recognize her.
No.
No, she's doing a comedy. I saw her a few times. She's funny. But she has a podcast and it's mainly on these subjects, so I'll read it. Men, when we talk about the Holocaust, we all remark upon how most Germans did not participate actively in it, but just looked the other way, which made it possible. We talk about it because their compliance sadly became complicity. That is an interesting concept. We are seeing an epidemic of men's and boys' violence against women and girls. Women and girls are being raped, murdered, and harassed constantly. 1 in 3 women has been sexually assaulted by a man. This means over 1 billion women. That has been achieved by hundreds of millions of men. We have seen global trafficking rings exposed, and men have said and done damn near nothing about it. They just moved on ASAP. Men frequent and therefore fund websites that promote violence against women. Look at the biggest porn sites and the videos they profit from. Many men will only ever have one thing to say about any of it, which is, not all men. They contribute nothing more to the conversation. I am amazed they are comfortable with a legacy of inaction in the face of clear injustice. Another pro-rape group has been uncovered. One of many, since we learned that one of them led to a single elderly woman, Gisèle Pellicot, being raped by 100 men across a few years, the one in France a few years ago, I think. Many more men than that just simply saw her rape up for grabs and didn't participate, but didn't report it. Compliance leading to complicity. Another group of 70,000 men was uncovered in which they were actively encouraging each other to rape their partners. Another of 30,000 was men encouraging each other to rape their daughters and mothers too, not just their partners. These are a huge gathering of men, not just observing, but edging to each other on, helping each other, covering for each other, all enabled by each other's complicity. We are all watching all of you comfortably accept this reality for women. This increasing nightmare for girls. It looks terrible. Your shrugs look weak at best, and like part of the machine at worst. So men who do feel moved to help, ask us, the victims, the targets, what do you want me to do? What should I do? You are asking us to delegate action to you while we are traumatized and trying to stay alive. If you think most men are good, are there not enough of you grown men to get together and think of a single plan of action without having women organize it for you? Are you willing to look this inept? You are supposed to be the great thinkers, investors, and leaders. Can you really not think of anything? I'll start you off with one thing. Stigmatize this culture. Be loud, be relentless. Signal to all other men constantly how weak and depraved this stuff is. This does actually work. Men largely move for the approval of other men. Some even choose their partners based on what other men will find impressive. If men think they will be othered for being a creep predator, they will start to behave differently and perhaps even think differently. When you see women being abused publicly or online, speak up in numbers. When you see videos of women being harmed, report the site and stop using it. Defund hatred of women in media. Stop listening to podcasts that encourage the dehumanization of women. Educate young men around you on the importance of being a good man, on how to be a good person. Women check each other all the time. Men should pick it up. It helps. Currently, men are going unchecked by each other and they're living in the delusion that this is okay. Haman's response to groupthink for safety. Make other men feel unsafe in making women unsafe. Other men presume you are okay with the way they think and talk about women. They presume you might even like it because your silence shows up as approval to them. The saddest thing about all these groups of hundreds of thousands of men is that it's the men these women and girls already know. It's not even stranger in an alley. It's men we share homes with, violating us, ruining our lives, killing us. So how could we know which of you to trust if you don't loudly and constantly show us which of you are against this and with us? Women are deleting their dating profiles at record numbers because these men are every age, from every background and culture and profession. We can't tell you apart. You will have to set yourself apart or die alone. Men tell women to fear ending up alone with cats, but we aren't scared because we have each other. And animals are great. And the peace and safety feels worth it to so many women. Really, men are afraid they will end up actually alone. There is no female loneliness crisis. We are building our lives without instruction. We leave you all behind if you do not join us. We will leave you all behind if you do not join us. So start public shaming now, before we dismiss you forever as a spineless spectator of the brutality we are subjected to by your kind. Women and girls are in danger when we go for a walk at night, we go to school, when we drink alcohol, when we go home with a man, when we say no to going home with a man, when we go for a run in a park, when we marry someone, when we sleep in the same house as a man we know, when we have a male relative, because most assaults happen from a man we know. And the highest cause of death for a pregnant woman is her male partner murdering her. Men, I say all of this to you because I still somehow believe in you. I'm rooting for you. I hate the division between men and women, but women have every right to be terrified. Anyone bitten by a dog has a right to fear all dogs. Someone who gets attacked by a shark has every right to avoid the sea. I want this to end. I want things to get better. Don't let us down. That's it.
Wow. Can you share that to me? I'll share that on my page.
Of course, I'll send it.
Yeah, to me too.
You
No,
already have it. I shared it to you already.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
What, okay, you're the one who read this, you're the one who's seen it. Obviously, you must have thoughts on this, so what does this, stir up in your mind?
But with all of these things, I don't even feel powerless. It's just I feel comforted in my choice of not being with men or not forcing myself to fit in the mold that I would need to be with a man or whatever. So I'm not afraid to live with my cats either. And I know building community of women for now, it feels more safer. It feels safer that than like building something and expecting that men will just step up. So I thought that this text was really empowering to both sides, men and women. So if men they don't know what to do, it's pretty simple. Just step up, speak, and don't let it happen, because it's the only way. You tell us for years that unless you're a matrilineal mentality, you won't listen to women. So it's us that needs to tell men now to do to it's something that it's pretty sensitive, because you would think that men would like to find a solution to get rid of this problem, but in the end it's like it comes from women again. The solution comes from women. So okay, if it's our responsibility to help men stand up, but I'll do it. And I think this is the way to do it, because she's not like she's the right amount of calling names and like giving solutions. So I encourage any women to speak up too. I do it with my dad. I do it with any male I have connection and communications with. Even I did it in the longhouse. I remember one time, I think it was directly on a Zoom with someone that was there. It's not used to it, and the person corrected themselves. Yeah, there's stuff that we can do without being violent ourselves. So I think it needs to be talked all the time. And this is what I'm doing right now. It's like as soon as I have a chance, I just put it in their face, because it needs to be faced by men. They need to face that this is what it is, because we have to live with it. And I could go on for hours on this, because it just pops up everywhere. But it's already the 9th woman in the province alone, Quebec, Canada. 9 women this year already killed, feminicide. That doesn't work. And we can see like supposed rulers in the world that are pedophile or grab him by you know what and stuff like that. How are we that low on the evolution ladder? We are pretty low. We are even in the basement, I would say. So it needs to be talked all the time. It needs to be our priority. That's what I have to say on that. So.
Well, a lot of the things that she said there, I can't remember it all. I can't comment on it at all, but some of it, it's just like lightly touched on, where she gave reference to the Holocaust, and to say that this has been happening to women for thousands of years now. So when you compare it to the Holocaust, where there was only 6 million who got killed, that's nothing compared to what women have been confronted with for thousands of years. You could say it's into the hundreds of millions of women that have been victimized, targeted, violenced in some way or another, murdered, killed directly under male dominance. So when she points out these things and then says that like she has faith in the men, she's not very realistic. Not at all. Do you think, do any of the women that are present here that are listening to this, do you think that men are going to all of a sudden change the direction they've been on for thousands of years collectively, that's benefited them for thousands of years collectively? Do you actually think that men are gonna be able to say, hey, yeah, look at the way we've been treating women, yeah, it's wrong, yeah, we should listen to them, yeah, we should do this or that? Do you think men are gonna make that correction? Do either of the women present, do you think that would happen?
No.
Not by themselves.
No. So you got to be realistic here. When she says that she has faith in like the men, what are you doing? It's not going to happen. Men are not going to do nothing about the circumstances they have created that they prosper from. And it's not just about violence towards women or whatever, like what's being identified. It's the whole overall thing of war, piracy, the whole system that male has created. They are not ever gonna see anything wrong with it. They are therefore never going to correct. And so women in this world, you can count on, you will be stuck in the same corruption another 2,000 years from now. There'll be another woman saying the same thing that this woman is saying for about the previous 2,000 years. And there'll be a woman 2,000 years from now talking about for the past 4,000 years. So the reality is that the women have to do more than hope. You got to do more than believe or have faith. having faith is stupid, as you know, that having faith in somebody gonna change. Every woman knows that you can't just have faith in that men are gonna stop beating you. Men are gonna stop sexualizing you. Men are gonna stop victimizing you. Men are gonna stop condescending upon you. Not gonna happen. Never. So the women have to come to a point of awakening. And what this life giver has to do, I really like the stuff that she addresses, but she only goes halfway and then drops the ball. Because saying all these things, yeah, this is the way it is. Yeah, everybody knows the way it is. How did it get this way? That's the thing that's got to be pinpointed. How did this happen? How did it get this way where men are this way for thousands of years? So to pinpoint that, she doesn't do that. She does not identify religion. She does not identify the so-called political systems that the non-native has of democracy. She doesn't identify these things. So you could just say there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. Let's see. There's a problem. I got diabetes. But not saying that I got to stop eating all the cookies that I eat at night or all the candies that I'm eating. Just saying diabetes and then trying to address it. No, you gotta, like any illness, this is what the women are confronted with. You are confronted with an illness. It's a mental illness. And it's the guys that are mental. They're mentally retarded. They're retarded through, and I mean that word, retarded, which means that you were at a certain place, but you were turned back. So the men are retarded, mentally retarded by religion. Religion is the source of all corruptions in this world because it is male dominance. And this is what women are experiencing is a result of so-called equality. Because when men can say that we are all created equal, as you know from the teachings within a longhouse, that is a lie. That is not true. We are not equal. That is anybody who will say, any male or any woman who will believe that of the two in this world, female and male, that we're equal, you are crazy. A woman who believes that is giving up her ground. That is her ability to stay free of all of these things that this woman identifies: rapes, abuse, violence, everything. That's your high ground to stay away from that, is the fact that we are not equal. The fact that you, the female, the life giver, is the primary, above the male, before the male. So you got to look at what are the things that condition the males to be in this scenario that leaves the women then in that scenario, which then you can reflect and say that any woman who is part of religion is mentally retarded herself, because then she is supporting a system that is against her own self, that is against her own daughters. And by any woman who's involved in any religion today, she's investing in corrupting her granddaughter's living experience. By supporting and being a part of any religion today, knowing that her, say, an unborn granddaughter, even a great-great-granddaughter, hundreds of years from now, any woman that's in religion today, you are supporting, you are investing in stealing the living experience from all the girls, your great-granddaughter, from 100 years into the future. So, we can imagine a world in a certain way, but it's fantasy unless you address how did it happen. So she does not address how did it happen. She does not address the factors that are responsible for this. What's responsible for all the males that are all of a sudden coming here into Quebec that are that come from male dominant countries and that even have in their minds it's okay to kill your girlfriend, your spouse, your wife, even your own daughter if they disgrace the family, if they go against their beliefs of like saying even just dating somebody else. So you think, let's say just somebody with no religion, if you're gonna date, let's say a white girl gonna date a black guy. Anybody would think there's no problem with that, right? No issue with that. But if you came from a religious family, then your family members would be against you. And depending on what religion, some religions in this world, as we know, view it as like blasphemy, like something that would constitute or justify the death penalty. How many times have we heard here in so-called Quebec in the past, of families coming from either India or Pakistan or places such as that, where they do honor killings of girls within their own family, of their own daughters, of their own nieces. So what's the cause of that coming into so-called Quebec? Is it the religions that make that happen? It's the democracy that makes that happen, because it's democracy that is nonstop war, and those nonstop wars then do not believe in, and humans do not support, because of war, they do not support fixing the problems in each other's households, meaning in each other's countries. So instead of saying, looking at like right now, say the United States in the way that they are invading Iran, instead of being on a friendly basis and saying, hey, we got to address these things within you, that this is an assault on women or assault on freedoms, instead of doing that, they wage war. So they actually perpetuate that male dominance corruption. So everybody who is within democracy, you're in nonstop wars. Try to find a democracy on earth that has not been in war constantly since it has adopted its democracy. And as you know, to actually get democracy is a violent process. Look at the way Syria got their democracy, supposedly, like over the past 10 years when they had what they call the Arab Spring in Syria, protests right in, I forget what square it was, but in Syria, the main square in one of the, I guess it was the capital. Everybody sitting in protesting. Of course, this was all espionage by the United States, CIA, everything else in there, espionaging and infiltrating, and then basically paying people on the street to sit in and to be in these protests and to be calling for democracy. You got to be a retard, especially if you come from any Middle Eastern country. You are a retard if you are asking for democracy, because all the Middle Eastern countries know how democracy got into their countries and what democracy has done to them. So you look at, since just that Arab Spring, there it shows you, how did the people get democracy? Through violence. That's how. And it's nonstop violence afterwards, because democracy is theft. It's of lazy people who are too lazy to address their own shortcomings and just going, instead of dealing with it, going and stealing and like putting a band-aid solution over their own problems by stealing off of other people. So very good what she says, but it's not even halfway. What's the point in complaining? Like, again, if a person has diabetes, what's the point in going to the doctors and saying, I got diabetes, if you're not gonna tell your doctor, well, I sit up and I eat cookies all night. I eat a lot of candies. I drink soda nonstop. If you don't address these things, then going to the doctor and saying, I got diabetes, so can you do something about it? The only thing that the doctor will be able to do about it is a temporary relief, and it's artificial, and it won't last. You actually got to go to somebody else to get that temporary relief. So when you think of what men, when she says what men got to do, she has faith in men. Well, because of your exposure to the longhouse, you know what men have to do. They got to constantly provide the safe space for the life givers to be able to express themselves, to be able to live free. The women got to be in a safe space, as you know. Otherwise, you're not living free. You're stuck in your house. You're stuck in your own place. And then there, you're even more vulnerable because you're within confined walls. And then you know that it's all around you. And all it has to do is just seep into those walls. And then, even in the sanctity or the safety of your own household, you'll find that you're not safe. That male dominance will creep right in there and will do all the things that male dominance does. So, as you know, within the longhouse, that the males are supposed to do a lot of things. This is why it's so important to differentiate and be realistic about the powers in this world, the sexes. There is only two. When you got all these different things, well, then look what's in that society. You could say, well, they got all this violence against women. Well, do they actually have all these different sexes, all these different genders? And you might say in some countries where they're really strict on religion, they don't, but they're still male dominant and beating their wives more and violence upon their women more. Well, then you compare. Well, look at in these countries that have 10 different genders, violence upon women. In these countries that who don't have that, but have these strict religions, then they have violence upon women. So you got to look at like a list. Violence upon women, check it out. Well, any place where they believe in they, them, or how many genders or whatever, violence against women. Just that in its own, an LGBTQ, that's violence against women. Because the first thing it starts off with is talking about women's sexuality. But the second thing that it identifies, it doesn't even identify male. Doesn't LGBTQ, where does it identify homosexual? It's hidden in the second letter, G, which is a lie. So all of these things are violence against women. And unless they are addressed, women will just keep complaining for the next couple of thousand years, and big deal. A couple of thousand years from now, you'll find yourself in the exact same scenario. So if women want men or guys to take action, then the women better lead us by the nose, because guys are not going to do it. As long as guys can dial up a woman to come to their house and get what they want off of that woman, guys will never listen to you. Why would they listen to you when they can dial the equivalent of 911, but it's for guys who need to have sex, so they'll dial that number to get that woman, that call girl or that prostitute, will go right to their house, right to their apartment. And a lot of the times, as I'm sure anybody could imagine, a lot of the times those women will be violenced upon. They'll be beaten, but they're getting paid for it. So those are one of the things that's got to be addressed. As long as women are actually undermining other women, then you can't expect the men to pull their heads out of their rear ends to accommodate the women. But then that's a vicious circle. Women are forced into that. as we know, that the whole world knows. The whole world knows this is a worldwide ring of human trafficking. Who does it? Is it the women who are doing it? Well, you found out, yeah, there's a woman involved, that Ghislaine Maxwell and Hillary Clinton and what's Donald Trump's wife? What's her name?
Melania.
Melania. They all support it. They're the cause of those things. So addressing, as you know, we've been addressing these things, and well, for myself, it really does no good to for me to just keep talking about this. It's really the women who got to say, these are the things that we need to address. This is what you men got to address. This is what you men got to stop doing. Don't expect men to be smart seriously if the women believe the men are going to figure that out. In the longhouse, it's different. In the native world, it's very different. I know that not to toot my own horn, but to say that women, life givers, when they're around me, they feel safe because they know I'm going to protect them. You know, I gave this example many times in the past. My ex-sister-in-law, Carlene, we used to go Stone, Carlene, and a teacher friend of ours, an Italian woman. I forget her name. We used to go dancing. And we used to go to this place on St. Laurent called the Go-Go. And one night, Sunday night, we come out of there and we go across the street and there's a pizza joint there, and it was summertime. So the two girls were sitting on a bench. I guess it was a bus bench or whatever, just a bench there on St. Laurent. And I'm always watching everything. I'm always watching everything around me. I see these two guys come walking down the street, and I gesture to my sister-in-law. I says, "Get up now." And my sister-in-law knows if she sees me do that, she knows to listen. It's not like I'm bossing the girls around just because I want, hey, you get up and move off of that bench now. So my sister-in-law knew to listen to what I was saying. So she tapped the other girl like that, and she says, "Come on, right now." And soon as they got up off of the bench, these two guys that come walking down the street that I seen, nothing odd about them, but I could tell. Soon as the two girls got up off the bench, these two guys were fighting each other, and they rolled right on the bench where the two girls were. So I know, but there's no way to prove this, that these were two guys out victimizing together, meaning they look for victims together, and they work with each other to violate. So they seen these two women sitting on the bench. They didn't see myself and Stone there. They only seen these two women. Because here they are, they're walking down the street side by side, they're talking. But then as soon as they get where those two girls were, they're fighting, and they're on the bench where the girls were. I'm telling you, it was as quick as the girls got up like that, that's how fast the two guys were there. So I know that these two guys were out fishing together. They were out victimizing women together. So this is what you women got to know and understand. That when you go out at night, if you're by yourself and you think you're gonna, hey, you're talking to one guy, no way. You're talking to more than one guy. There's other guys that are watching, that are sizing you up, that are looking for the opportune moment. That soon as that guy gets you to be distracted, that the other guys take some type of action. Either it's dropping something in your drink, or else it's something like what I just identified. Or even as crazy as it sounds, even as you know what happens, kidnapping. They'll even abduct, an abduction. So women, when you're thinking of the freedoms that you think you have, you don't have those freedoms anymore. You think you do, but you don't. And so you're gonna go out in your normal life and think that, well, you can do your normal life. You can't do that anymore. Even going to the grocery store, yous are being sized up. Yous are being staked out. You're being observed. And it might not happen this one time. They'll watch you a bunch of times to see the rhythm of what you're doing, to see the pattern. And then the time that you are just completely comfortable, then that's when they got you. So any woman who's alone in this world, if you don't have something like being able to be grouped together with other women that you can trust, because just because you're a woman, you can't trust them. If they're you don't know what their beliefs are, you don't know what their connections are. It's like a religious person. You can't trust a religious person. I would never. You'd have to be retarded to just trust a religious person. So also like that for girls, just to know that every guy on this planet is religious. Understand that. The only place where guys are not religious is here in Turtle Island. And every guy believing in religion is only believing in a religion that places him as authority, as a male, that God is a male. And that puts in their minds, as a certain level of condescension, even upon their own mothers. As you hear in some of the, like what you read off there, there's sites where men are encouraging other men even to rape their own daughters and their own families. Holy crap. So, yeah, you women got a lot to, I'd say a lot of catching up to do. I mean, you could know all these things, but the women are not actually living the reality to adjust it. You're just subjected to it. And here, as you're seeing here in so-called Quebec, you're watching these liberties, these freedoms being overrun. The more that you see a certain type, and that puts stress or fear upon you, and you're seeing more and more of those types, well, then I could just imagine what every woman on her own is living, what you're going through. So there's a lot of women in this world who are already isolated. They're already isolated to being by themselves. They won't come out of their shells. They'll never talk about these things. It just perpetuates the problem. As you know, within the longhouse, the voice is nurtured. Your voice, the life giver's voice is nurtured to speak the truth, regardless of like on the outside, you'll speak the truth and you'll be feared. You'll be looking over your shoulder. But in the longhouse, you don't have that. You don't have that fear. So you're promoted to have that freedom and to exercise it. On the outside, it's promoted to not have that. So the outside, through democracy, through religion, you life givers are being introverted to the point of where you will not talk about the violations that you receive, sometimes even on a daily basis. You just become so bombarded throughout the week. This violation, that violation, you just forget about it. Becomes just a blur of misogyny. Yeah, anyway, so this is what has to make its way to the table, but where's the table? Where's the discussion table?
Mm.
You only have that in the longhouse. You got no platform in where you can address these things in the non-native world. So, yeah, women are fighting an uphill battle, as everybody knows, for thousands of years. But how long could it be that it sustains at the same level? At a certain point, doesn't it get to where it's just unsurmountable that you can't continue on that way? Aren't women getting to that point? If women are not getting almost to that point by having women and children being blown up in your face every day now for how many years, right on social media, right there for the whole world to see what the Zion Nazis of Israel, what the Jews are doing to the Palestinian people. You've been watching that for what, 4 or 5 years now, live, continuous, as opposed to maybe every few years there was a flare up there, since 1947. So since 1947, you've been watching it. But in the past few years, it's been so in your face, so much, that there isn't a single woman on earth who's bothering to say anything about it. Life Givers Nation said something about it. Try to find any other women that are saying anything about it. They're living in fear. This is why I'll take you back about 2 moons ago, maybe even a little longer. In one of the Zooms, I said to the women, you better start grouping yourselves together for your own safety, for your own peace of mind. If you cannot group yourself together with like-minded women, you're alone in this world. You're going to be a victim. You're already a victim just by being alone. So the women like to get to the stage of where they'll really be able to do something like this woman here. She's saying something because she's got a platform. But that platform, where does it go to? It goes to fans. What are fans? Fans are not people who take action. Fans are just people who watch and observe. They're like sitting in the stands watching a football game going on. And they'll say, do this, do that. They'll say, you bum, you don't know what you're doing. But they're never on the field themselves. So talking to fans, yeah, she may reach a bunch of people, but what are those people going to do? They're only fans. They're not real friends. We're going to stand up and do something. In that world, in the non-native world, they're ultimately going to say something to their government. And their government's the one that's perpetuated it. So where's it going to go? Where are the women going to go? Women's Nation is truly the only avenue of freedom for women, for all women. Here in Ganawagi, you think you got it? No way. The women in Ganawagi are more victimized here because they're more under white man's democracy. They're more under oppression. Such an oppression that's official, mind you. It's not something that is just your husband or your next door neighbor. It's official from the system. Last week on Thursday, Eden and I went out to my niece's, and Eden had to leave early, so I stayed there with my niece. We were watching the movie, and she brings me home afterwards. But on our way, we're getting ready to leave. We're outside on her porch, and we hear a car, and this is in the new developments here in Ganawagi. Now, anybody in Ganawagi, you know what I'm talking about here. So the new developments, it's a planned neighborhood, a lot of roads, but they all go nowhere. They all go in circles. There's only one road in and one road out. So we hear a car down one of these back roads with a loud stereo, boom, 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 boom. And we can see the headlights, between the houses, the cars coming up. And then when it gets right in front of my niece, this is at 1:30 in the morning. You'd never guess what kind of car it was. Take a guess, just off the top of your head.
Police car.
Yes, it was a cop car. The town cops here driving around at 1:30 in the morning with booming stereos in a residential neighborhood. What they're showing you, they're not officially putting out a notification telling people this. What they're showing you is the cops are above the people and they're oppressing the people. Because right in your face, they'll boom their stereos at 1:30 in the morning, but anybody else, the cops would come and it would even push them to the point of arresting them, pulling out their guns. This is the corruption that's right here in Kahnawake. So 1:30 in the morning here, the town cops, the official oppression of the people, are booming their stereo. Now think of that in a cop car. No, cop car, they should have no music on at all. They shouldn't be listening to a stereo. They should have all their senses about them. Like maybe you hear somebody, maybe you're driving by in a residential neighborhood and you hear a girl screaming. Well, you got your stereo boom, boom, booming. The girl's going to scream. Where's the help? Not from the cops, that's for sure, because they're there to oppress. The system is there to oppress. It is made this way, created in such a way because it's all a male system, because it's democracy. It's created in such a way that guarantees that it's going to violate your freedoms. And when your freedom is violated, this is what all the people living in those new developments don't comprehend. And it's not going to be an established public knowledge because they're all too chicken shit to say anything. Because they stay in their houses. They look out their window when the car's going by. Boom, boom, boom. That's a cop. So you know what it tells them? It tells them to obey. You're in a system that you must obey. And that's where women are violated, where you must obey. So, anyways, I'll leave it there. I don't know if anybody's got anything you want to say about that. If not,
It has to start somewhere. Like our message, at least it starts somewhere. I know it doesn't address yet, but what I feel is that women are getting ready. They are understanding more that connected to your own power, like you have to start somewhere. So it starts with us. It's life. Life wants to live. So that's why we are oppressed for thousands of years, but we are still there, still lifing because life wants to live. It's like our own body will always go ahead and try to heal itself. It's the exact same with the species. So we are a species, and we are like hanging there because we are life, we are creation, and yeah, it has to start with us. Like the fact that men hate women that much shows that they hate themselves. Because you cannot hate someone else without hating yourself first. It's all emotion. It's how it works. It's a reflection. It's a mirror. So for me, it shows how they also hate the world we live in, but they are not aware of it yet. We are the ones that, with like I saw another video explaining when we are told not all men, not only divert the conversation, but it's not the point. The point is that we don't feel safe with yous anymore. And I was not like that before, but now I see that if I'm not like, if I don't know the man from someone that knows him a lot, it would take me a long time to trust him. So it has to start with us. It has to start with our own power and safety inside. So for that, you need to know yourself. And what are we life givers? It's the part we need to connect back to, because being a life givers, we are not even raised to learn about what is a life givers. We don't even, in non-native world, I heard this term in 2016 for the first time. I was 30 years old. So it's quite, when you look at this, it's it's so simple and so complicated because we are so far ahead in corruption and male dominance that it feels insurmountable. But when you look at like the smallest part of it, which is just start, so it starts somewhere. This is what I have to say. It's like consistently after that, you always do something, and from there you'll reach a point. But women, the first part of it would have to face it, and for men too, to face that they are by their inaction and or just tolerating these, and by saying it is the world we live in now, creates it each time, when in fact you just have to say, hey, you're stupid, don't do that ever, that's stupid, respect people. And between men, you would at some point start to listen to each other, because if you're encouraged to kill and rape women, there is the other way around too, being encouraged to protect them. So I see and witness more and more males that are doing it, and I always read the comments. There's a lot of women that thank them and are grateful for that, and we need to highlight these behaviors too, to say, hey, this is what we encourage. So the more we'll do it, like praising good behavior, this is what creates correction, but it has to start somewhere. So that's why I love the way she wrote. I know it could be deeper, but if she at least triggers a few people just to see how simple it is. it's not it's not hard to look at your friend and just say, because you know yourself enough and you love yourself enough, then you're strong, and you just say, hey, don't ever say that about women anymore. I'm doing that with my best friend since 2017. No, 2007. Each time he says she's crazy, I say, hey, you're talking about your daughter. And he usually says, oh. But sometimes he would talk about his daughter and say she's crazy, and I say, no, ever, I don't give you permission to say that. And he has to correct himself, because if he doesn't, I just hang up. I don't talk to him anymore. But I have to be strong to do it. So it starts there. So between women, we give our strength to each other. I can tell with the long conversation, the work we do, it gives strengths. And sharing and like being in the collective too, like having the courage to talk about anything, gives strength. And yeah, if I can at least encourage any people to just start this journey, it gives so much power. And when men get aware of their own power and what is to protect life, like being a life protectors, it is when they access what is real life and real power, because it's just it's like a, how do we say that, it's not real power. What we see like male dominance, it's not power, that's false, that's AI. Like you say, it's all artificial. But when men connect to this like sacred feminine power and give space and create safe space, they get so much more in return than what they think they would get controlling. People wanting to control everything, it's only someone that fears everything. So when you want to control, it's because you're scared. You're a scared kid. So we are governed by scared kids with tantrum too, that don't have the way to regulate our own emotions. So we are mothers, so we need to just embrace the role and just see that we failed. Some of it we failed, some of it comes from oppression, but at some point we are the one that raised these men. So it starts somewhere with small actions, 1% each day. So I hope.
Imagine what it was like when you were a teenager in high school. You did not know any of this kind of stuff. You were just coming out into the world thinking the world was okay. But there was women who were the age that you are now, when you were a teenager in high school, who knew the stuff that you know right now about male dominance, about men raping, about men being violent, all of this. There was women back then, and those women, when they were teenagers in school, there was women that age who knew the same thing. So what women got to look at is, why is there a disconnect? Why don't you have like a continuous line from somebody that's 60 years old to somebody who's 40 to somebody who's 30 to somebody who's 20 to somebody who's in their teens, who's just coming into that and is going to get violated, and you're going to, all those women and all those different age groups all know that that young girl who's in high school right now, she's going to receive the same violations that all those women in each of those age groups have experienced. Where is the commonality, the common thread, the continuum within the women? It's not there. So this is what we got to look at as to how to rebuild it. This is the purpose of Women's Nation. To, like you said, it's got to start somewhere. Well, it already has started somewhere. And it started from within the Ganyangahaga thousands of years ago. It started within all the original peoples within Turtle Island, who were all matrilineal societies, who were all living by the Great Law of Peace, whether they identified it as Great Law of Peace, or whether they had just identified it as the rules of their nation or the laws of their nation. You know, so here we got to look at then, or when you're being realistic, like if you're keeping an inventory, if you got a big giant store and you got things on the shelf that are going rotten, you got to keep your inventory up to date. You got to know to take those things off the shelf, get rid of them. You got to know if there's the shelf in one department is empty. Well, you know, you got to put something there. So the life givers got to do this assessment, kind of like what we said about the human litmus test, you know, to identify what's human. What will you women not put up with? What will you accept? You know, what can you live with? What can you not live with? And then when it is within this category or that category, it's not that you can accept it. It's that once you identify it's in this category, it's bad, it's wrong, you cannot accept it. I know I have been saying, but big deal. It's just me. At the very least, since 2015, when we went on that walk across the country to bring our mothers back to power, I've been saying that the women of this world got to go like this. You got to put your hand up and say no. To the men, to the guys, no. You are no longer welcome in my house. You must put your foot down and say no until you adopt the ways of the Great Law of Peace. If women don't identify, this is the bar. You know, like this is how high the bar is, or how low the bar is, whatever. This is what you must live up to. You must live up to this bar. If you don't, forget about it. But women constantly, well, oh, look at this guy. Look at that guy. She really likes him. So, well, she'll forget about her that bar. She'll forget about what her requirements are, and she'll just go for that. So, well, the women are undermining themselves, you know, and it's not promoting the guys to be a certain way, because the women just keep accepting. As you know, each generation of men didn't learn, because there's always a woman there that will accept it. How else, other than within the longhouse, can the women have their power, their authority? There is no other way. The only way for women to have their power, their authority, their freedom is within the structures of the longhouse. It's the only way that is developed on the earth. There is no other place, no other way where women have developed their into the power and authority, where it would be balanced, you know, and not be a female dominance either. So the longhouse, the ways of the longhouse is what must be shared, must be known, it must be put out there into the world. And as you know, we've been doing this for 500 years. But when you got the non-native society fighting against it for 500 years, how long before either the non-native society is successful in its genocide here, or how long is it before we're successful at pushing great law of peace? Can you wait another 1,000 years before we're successful of pushing and pushing and pushing great law of peace that finally in 1,000 years will advance an inch? Can you wait that long for just that much advancement? No, because everything else is exponentializing in the world, war, the destruction to the earth. So this is the reason why my assessment was a couple of moons ago when I said, women, you've got to start grouping yourself together with other like-minded women that you can trust, that you can trust being together with, because we're rapidly approaching that time. We're there. We're in that time of where you got no more time left. So environmental wise, don't really have much time left. Societal wise, you tell me if this society is at the snapping point or not, or is it at the point of where it's healing itself and it's going to evolve? You think that's what's happening in a non-native society? So when you look at all the factors, myself, there's only so much that one guy within a longhouse can do. There's only so much I can do. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm so great or whatever, or I'm doing everything, no. But we are pushing this, I can say we're the only house left now that's pushing great law of peace to Wampum, women's power, authority. No one else is doing that now. And your time is limited for that. I've seen women come and go throughout my whole lifetime. Yeah, right now, they want to come, they want to support, but then they get sidetracked, and then they don't any longer. So where are the women that are supposed to support those guys that are making those advancements? They're not there themselves. You know, they're, because of democracy, they're too busy out trying to make a living. You know, when you're too busy out trying to make a living, you don't have the time to support a guy that's doing whatever, because you don't even know where that guy is. You know, that guy just doesn't exist in the non-native world. Unless they do, I don't know if it would take you women to tell us who and where they are. Anyways, along these lines, unless you got anything further to say on that.
No, it's like it's the first of many.
Okay, along these lines, then a little bit of information that was already revealed, I don't know, last week or whatever, that the Longhouse is going to be represented at Cannes Film Festival this year. And we're pushing the Life Givers voice, the Life Givers agenda, the Life Givers nation. So when you hear within the Longhouse that it's the males that are supposed to provide the space for the Life Givers to have their council fire, well, we've done that here in this house. We provided that. We're pushing on every level for the life givers to have that stage. But there's no life givers in Ganawagi that want that. They're all pro-democracy. So here we continue to push it. So at the Cannes Film Festival this year, we're gonna be represented there. Edith is going. Now, as you know, Edith is not a Ganyangahaga. She is a Zapotec, but she is going to bring the message from the Ganyangahaga Traditional Council, the Longhouse up the hill, to the Cannes Film Festival. That's conjoined with the movement, the international movement, emergency movement for world peace. So we provided that stage. Now it's going to a larger world stage. So yeah, women, life givers, just go wherever, any place, wherever you find males that are doing that are pushing that and providing that space and pushing you forward to have your voice out there. Find them else, support them, and see if you get to that stage in time. Given all the other factors that are happening. Okay, so I just revealed that it's been affirmed today that Edith is going to the Cannes Film Festival. Imagine she's going rub elbows with all the billionaires and everything, and that's to promote the movement of peace that we have been doing here within the corridor of truth, peace, power, and righteousness through the reconstitution of the eagle and the condor. As you know now, for how many years we've been pushing that, and it's now gotten to this stage of where it's gotten world recognition and going to be brought in front of that world of entertainment. Because the news world people just don't care. And the entertainment world of people, they don't care either. But at least in the entertainment world, then there's more of a exposure there. So the woman's voice, the life giver's voice, is being pushed from this house as it has always been, right to this level of world stage now. So that's going to be on when? May 18th? May 18th. Edith is going there for 5 days. She's going to with a group of others that are connected to the corridor of truth, peace, power, and righteousness, the reconstitution process we've been involved in. There's people that are connected to there's going to be a group going. And so there's a few from the south and Edith that's going to be present, and that's going to be bringing this message of great law of peace to the world, bringing the message of the life givers are the primary, the males are the secondary, and everything else that we promote, that's what Edith's going to be going there to do. So that's the woman's voice. That's the life giver's voice. I'm not going to be telling her that you can't say this, you can't say that, you got to say this, you got to say that. Of course, she's going on agenda and certain things got to be said. But outside of that, it's not to say, well, nobody's telling her what she can and cannot say. So that would be, I would guess, would constitute males functioning within the way that the life givers would want them to function. But anyways, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Anybody got anything to say on any of this? If not, I don't have anything else to say. It's been a long day. Very here we've been giving it hell as much as we could here. We got so much wood that we've been working on over the past month. It's crazy. I've never had so much wood here on the Longhouse grounds, like to say that, of course, over the years, we burn a lot of wood. I go to the bush, I get it, or I get it from somewhere but all at once to have this much wood here, it's been exhausting. And we're cutting it and doing it all by hand, so anyways, very drained right now. So if there's nothing that anybody else has to say or anything, any questions anybody put forward, if not, just to give a chance, can you see if anybody's stating anything on Facebook?
Oh, Facebook. Okay.
If
hang on.
not, I've had a few Facebook fights this week. Everybody was Facebook fighting. Chop chop. But if there's nothing, then we're gonna close up. We're closing up. Okay. You wanna beat a dead horse here, and in this instance, I'm the dead horse. Oh. Is the sound good? Can you fix the sound?
Yeah.
Shelly